Hey guys, welcome to the Rational Optimization Podcast. Today is a little bit different because today I'm going to tell you a story from my life. The story of how I took my bicycle and rode 5,000 kilometers to North Cape and back to Germany. And it's a story, actually, this story is an argument for why humans are good, because I believe that humans are really good, and this story is 100% pure evidence for why you shouldn't think that humans are like bad creatures or something, but humans are really, really good beings, and if you give them the chance, they can really, do good to you. And I will tell you my story. I will tell you why. And whenever you hear someone say that humans are like intrinsically bad, you can, or maybe you can try it yourself to do something like I did, or you can just tell my story and tell them, I don't think that humans are really intrinsically bad, because they are not. Humans are really, really good. But about my story. Okay, so it was in 2020 when I finished high school, and I wanted to travel. I wanted to explore the world right after school was finished. The problem is, as you may or may not remember, 2020 was not the right year to start to travel, because 2020 Corona started, and like right with my exams in the end of the year, Corona began. So I had never had like Corona in school, but like for the exams, it was there already. So I finished my exams and I couldn't travel because of Corona. So I thought, because I wanted to go to Spain, I wanted to do like work and travel and like fancy stuff. So this was all not possible. So I thought about, okay, what can I do? Maybe I can take my bicycle and visit my grandparents and like my family and just like spend time with them, not with like random people I don't know, but with a bicycle. It's like super safe way to travel, and super cheap way to travel. And so I thought like, okay, maybe I'm gonna do the 500 kilometers to my grandparents by bicycle. Just remember, the journey I'm going to tell you about is not 500 kilometers. It's 5,000. But I thought like, okay, maybe I'm going to visit my grandparents. I'm going to take my bicycle, visit my grandparents, visit my like uncles, aunts, like everyone I know, and just like do a bicycle tour. So then I thought, okay, but that's not so far. Maybe I will go a little bit further. Like I can do a longer tour. And I was searching for like what is a nice place to go by bicycle. Like what is a good destination for a journey. And from a friend I heard that he with a friend did a tour to North Cape. They went, I think, a lot with train, and like the last, like they also did a lot by bike. And then I was like, North Cape, that sounds interesting. Where is this? So I typed in Google Maps. Oh, North Cape. It's the furthest northern point of Europe. So it's in Norway all the way up. Like, the furthest northern point of Europe. And I was like, maybe this is a cool goal. I don't know. Like, let me just like, I will just go into this direction. I don't know if I reach this goal. I will just go a little bit further, and then I can see. And also Norway is pretty beautiful and stuff. So I was like, okay, this is gonna be my bicycle tour. Then I realized, okay, I don't have a bicycle because my bicycle was stolen like a few weeks before. So I was like, shit, I just bought a bicycle, like borrowed some bike bags from a friend, like put some stuff in there, and then I went like 2 weeks after I had the idea, I sat on the bicycle and I was like, okay, let's go. I'm gonna go to North Cape now. So I was sitting on this bicycle. I was, where do I go? So I take up my phone, Google Maps, typed in North Cape, and then Google Maps told me, okay, this is the direction. So I started to go into direction North Cape, what Google Maps told me. like I think 3,200 kilometers or something. Um, I don't know how many days you have to drive nonstop, but it told me all of this, and I just started. And my plan to find a place to sleep on this journey was I had a hammock. So like this thing you hang between two trees and you can sleep in. And I had a tarp that I can hang above if it's raining. And I had a mosquito net like, because I heard that like Norway is not so cool. Like there are a lot of mosquitoes. And yeah, so this was my plan. And I started first day, and in the evening, because you're not allowed to sleep in Germany, you're not allowed to just sleep somewhere in the forest. Now I know I think it's okay with a hammock, but I thought it was like forbidden at all. So I just went to like a farm and asked the people there, hey, do you have a place where I can hang my hammock? And maybe preferably a place where there's like a little roof, a little shelter, with like a little less wind or something. And what they gave me, and it was really, really crazy. I was so like, what the fuck? Because they had like a little like house next to their house, like it's just like a little room, and this room had like a sofa and like a table, and they were like, hey, no problem, you can just go sleep in this room on the sofa. It's like a good sofa to sleep on. And I was like, whoa, that's super cool. I don't have to sleep on my hammock. I can like sleep on this nice sofa. And they were like, oh, you're also hungry. So because we made some meat. I don't know. They had like a fest, something like the day before, and so they were like, oh, you want to eat some meat? And I was like, oh yeah, for sure. I was like, holy shit, I'm so lucky that those are such nice people that I met. And yeah, next day I go back on my bicycle, I keep driving, and in the evening I started to knock on people's doors again and was like, do you have a place to hang like my hammock? And first like this was the first time I got like rejected. There was a guy, he really wanted to allow me to sleep there, but it was actually, I think it was his mother, and she was like, no way. And so I went to the next house, and they were like, oh yeah, for sure, but we don't have a place where you can hang your hammock, but we have this guest room. And so on the second day I had like a really like amazing guest room, like a big king size bed, like really big bed, like with a television, with everything. They were like, oh yeah, do you want to shower? Do you want to you can shower, and like super nice. I was like, damn, what? How can I be so lucky? Like second night, 2 nights in a row, and I didn't have to hang my hammock like even once. I was like, this is crazy. Like how nice, like whoa. So I just keep going. Like the next few days, I slept at places of my family, like people I knew, because they were like on the way, and I wanted to visit them anyway. So the next nights in Germany were like with my family. And then I realized before, like when I was at my grandmother's house, and I was like, okay, now I'm gonna go to Norway. Like, there's a problem. Norway closed all their borders because of Corona, so North Cape is gonna be hard. And I was like, I'm just gonna still go into this direction. So Sweden was at that time, I think, the only country that didn't close their borders. So I was like, okay, fuck this, I'm just gonna go to Sweden. So I booked like ferry over to Sweden. I went to Sweden and I started bicycling in Sweden. And the first night in Sweden, I didn't ask anyone. I was like, I'm just gonna, because there was a really good place for a hammock, I was like, I'm gonna hang my hammock here. And this was like nice, and I slept well, and the hammock was okay. Next night I was like, okay, I'm gonna ask somebody again. because it was also like rainy and everything, and I was like, it would be nice to not hang your hammock between like trees, but hang it like somewhere like in a barn, or like something with a little roof or a little like wind shelter or something, because like hanging between two trees where the wind and the rain and everything hits you is like not that nice. So I knocked on somebody's door, and who opened the door? It was Jimmy. Jimmy is like an really old man, really like frail and like thin, and he's an old man. His wife died, like at that time his wife had died like a few maybe I don't know, some time ago, and he had like a dog that was like pretty much the same, also like an old dog, really thin and really like slow, and they lived there together. And Jimmy was super nice. He was a little careful because of Corona, but he was like, okay, no problem, you can sleep at my place, you can sleep like in my like in my guest room. And this was like, I was like, holy, what? There's another guy that was so super nice. So with Jimmy, actually, yeah, like we cooked together, we talked, and it was really interesting because he was a really interesting man. He had actually in his garage, he had like a Rolls-Royce Phantom 1. If you are into cars or into old cars, you can look it up, but I think it's like multiple million euros. And also like a really old Jaguar. Maybe I can put photos in here. I don't know if I'm gonna do this, but I have photos of this. It's because he was like a car mechanic, and he had like cars in, like, I think maybe I can guess, but I would guess that the cars in his garage were worth 10 million euros. Like, no joke. It's like, because they were so rare and so old. It's like one of the first cars, and like so special. It were not his cars, it were like clients of his, because he was the mechanic. He was like fixing old cars. But to demonstrate you the level of trust that he gave me, because on the next morning he had to go to the doctor, and he was like, okay, I'm gonna go to the doctor, you just close the door behind you, and when you leave. So my bicycle was in this garage with those cars. So he was gone, and I went into this garage, took my bicycle out, like closed the garage behind me, like with those cars. So like I was like, oh, how did I met another person that's like so trusting, so nice, so incredibly such an incredibly nice person again. And I kept going. And the crazy thing is, for the next nights, night after night after night after night, every night I had this experience again. I met someone, the people were all super nice. Like worst case, I just got a sofa to sleep on. But most of the time, I not only got just a sofa, I got a sofa, or I got a bed, I got a shower. They were like, oh, are you hungry? Oh yeah, they cooked something for me. Like, I never asked. Like, when I knocked on the door, I was like, hey, my name is Elias. I'm doing this tour with a bicycle. Like, I explained a little bit about what I was doing, and I asked them, do you have like a place where I can hang my hammock? I never even asked for like a like a place to sleep inside or something. I never asked for food or something, and they were like no, we don't have a place for a hammock, but we have like a guest room, and are you hungry? And on the next morning, like many times I even got like breakfast. Like sometimes the people even gave me something like for the way, like here, you can have this for the way. And so yeah, it kept on happening every day. I met like there were people took me into their home. And of course it's not that it was every time it was the first try. Like sometimes I had to knock on multiple doors, but like if you would ask me for the average, how often I had to knock to get a place to sleep, the average was like about like 2.5, or let's say maybe even 2. So I got places to sleep really, really fast, and on average, yeah. The story will come. It will get a little harder, but yeah. In total, I would say it was like this. So I just kept on going, and after some time, when I was further north already, I met Peter, and Peter is like a classical rocker, like leather jacket. When I was in his house, there was like guns. No, I don't know even know if it's like a classical rocker. No, yeah, like, okay, imagine Peter. It's a guy, leather jacket. Like, when I went to his house, there was like a sign. When I went there to knock, there was like a sign, like, I don't worry about the dog. I have guns, like, for like in case they're like thieves or something. It's like, yeah, and he will protect himself. And I went into his house. There were like guns hanging from the wall. There were like, he had like quads and motorcycles, leather jackets, and everything. He had like he was a prepper, so he prepared for like the world going down. He had like immense shelves full of like food that holds good for like eternity. And he yeah, he took me up. He gave me a place to sleep, a bed. Even I think I don't know if he cooked for me. It's long ago. Yeah, August 2020, by the way. August, so it was already a little bit late for going into northern direction. But this is exactly what Peter told me, because he was like, "Yo, you're stupid. You're too late. You should have come 3 months ago, 4 months ago. Now you'll probably just gonna get stuck in snow and ice, and you're gonna suffer, and it's not gonna you're too late." He was like 100% you're too late. But I was like, I don't even like North Cape. It's not that my heart is like, oh, I have to go to North Cape, this is like my only goal. Like, I'm just fine. I'm just on a journey, and I will just see what happens. So I was like, I can just go into this direction, and I will find a way. It's okay. And he was like, okay. He showed me, like, he helped me with the way, and he was on his map, and because he did like those tours a lot of times, and he was like, okay, E45, this is your road. And actually, E45, it was my road. Like, if I ever get a tattoo, it's gonna be I don't know, but maybe it's gonna be E45, because it's like this road. It's like the next 30 days, this road and me only, nothing else. And yeah, so he helped me take said I should take the E45. So it's in the middle of Sweden, right through Sweden, like forest left and right. And this, it's actually, there are like two main roads that go through Sweden, and one is on the coast and one is through the middle. And I took the one through the middle, the E45. So I started going that way, and it actually got then it got hard, because like the weather got really bad. It started raining a lot, and I was on this really like, okay, this street was not big, but there were a lot of like traffic coming next to me, like always, like the big trucks like whoosh passing me, and it was like, oh, every time, like, oh, afraid that they are gonna hit me. But it actually was there. As I said, there are only like two main roads that go through Sweden, and if you want to really go up, you have to take one of them. So this was it was the right decision. It was what I did. And so there was no other opportunity. There was no like bicycle way on the side. It was only like on the side of this street where all the trucks passed me all the time. Like not all the time, they were not. So it was pretty lonely at times, but sometimes there were also like the trucks coming. And also, as you may know, the further north you get, the less people live in Sweden. So it actually got sometimes pretty hard not to get someone to say, yes, you can sleep at my place. This was no problem. People were really nice. But to even find a house where somebody lives in. So I really had to plan, like, because the villages got like 50, 100 kilometers apart from each other. So I really had to plan how to get like I had to plan to get the two that I'm in the evening, that I arrive at a village and where there are enough houses, so in case some people say no, I can get a place, because if there was only one house, it happened a lot of times that like nobody was there, and I was like, shit. And then I had to go 20 kilometers more because the next house was 20 kilometers away. At that time I really realized that it's gonna be cold, and I also bought like a spike tire. It's like for the bicycle that you can. It's like a tire, but it has like little spikes, and in case you're going on ice, you can use like the spike tire, and you're not gonna slip. And I didn't put it. I just bought it in case when it starts to freeze and to snow, and so I kept going, and the 17th of September. So no, actually, like all I told you, it's not August 2020, it's September 2020. Now it's the 17th of September, and this was the hardest day to get a place to sleep. It was I should have wrote down the name of the village. I don't know, okay, but it was like a village, and every person in this village was friendly, but every person in this village didn't have a place to sleep for me, but their neighbor had. So I went to so everyone in this village was like, no, I'm sorry, I can't take you now. I don't have place, but my neighbor has. Ask him. So I went to the neighbor, and what did the neighbor say? No, I don't have a place to sleep for you, but my neighbor has. So he sent me to the next one. And it was like as if this whole village before I came had like talked to each other and was like, oh, let's send him around so he can go like to every single house. And it slowly started to get dark, and I was like, shit, I think it's gonna be the first night I have to sleep in the forest. And like a little apart from this village, there was like one house, and it was like nice. It looked like a little bit like cozy, and there were like lights in this, like a friendly house. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna ask this house, and if they don't take me, I'm gonna go sleep in the forest, and it's gonna be fine. So I went to this house, and they were super, super nice people, and they took me. And actually, later, I went there again, and I slept one night again at their place. So it was the first time I met them, and they were super nice. I went there. We were like, okay, hey, you want a shower? Are you hungry? And they made like hamburgers for me, and I was like, whoa, so nice again. But yeah, it was super nice, and I talked to them, and actually, what they told me is that in this area where they lived, in this year in the hunting season, they shot 500 brown bears. So they shot 500 brown bears to keep the population at level. So the population is not growing, but also not shrinking, and so you have to imagine how many bears there are in Sweden. And they were like, bro, you're not gonna sleep. You should not sleep outside. It's like my plan to go, if they don't take me, I'm gonna go sleep in the forest, is not a good plan. Don't do that. They were like, no, no. And actually, a few days later, I also met another guy on the bicycle tour. And he told me that he actually, when he slept in the forest, one day he woke up and he saw a bear, and from that day on he never wanted to, like, he was like always on camping sites or stuff. He didn't have like this just knock on random people's doors thing that I did, but that's what he also told me. So I was pretty sure that I'm not gonna sleep outside anymore. I'm for sure gonna ask people in the evening, and yeah, that's what I kept doing. So they by the way, this is the worst evening where it took the longest to get a place to sleep. It took around like 40 minutes. So it's like, actually, if you think about it, it's like 40 minutes. Who am I to complain about 40 minutes? It's like, it's pretty good. 40 minutes is not long to find a place to sleep. Yeah, so I keep going, and yeah, again and again, I met really, really nice people. Special thing I can tell you about is like Emil and Philip Haar. This was the first time, because most nights I slept at pretty old people's places, but they were actually not that much older than me. I think they were like 23 or something. And when I came, like, I was searching for a place, and I saw like, there's like this, I don't know. Yeah, I went to this place, and there were like already like dogs coming at me, and I was like, oh, okay. And people coming out, and like, oh, those are younger people. I asked them, they were like a little bit skeptical in the beginning, but then they were like, yeah, okay, for sure, you can sleep here. And then we started talking, and they were like in their garage, they were like tuning, like they were working on a car, and like I thought they were like repairing it, but actually they were like tuning this car. And then we went like for a test drive, tried to do like some burnouts and stuff, and it was not really working perfectly, but it was fun, and it was nice like to do something like this on the way. And actually, like on the next day, I think Emil took me to go hunting with him. And then so I did my first day of break on this whole tour, and we went hunting together. We didn't shot anything, but it was super interesting to go like through the half frozen Swedish forest, and like with a dog, and hunting for moose. And yeah, it was really, really nice. It was really nice to meet them. And I visited them again like about 1 year later. I hitchhiked to meet them. 3,000, not really, 1,500 kilometers. And I went there again for 2 weeks, and it was really, really cool. We had a really good time. And yeah, so we went hunting together, and on this evening we went like to eat together with their friends, and it was super cool. Like we went to, and on this evening, outside, or I was like packing my stuff. It was like already after midnight, and on the next morning I wanted to go, because Emil wanted to go with me a little bit, like for like 50 kilometers or something, and we wanted to start at 6 because he wanted to go hunting after. So it was already really late. I was like packing my stuff, and before I finished, I was like, okay, I'm gonna I don't know why, but I just opened the door, like look at the sky, like see the stars, because they're really, really, really beautiful stars in Sweden, because there's not so much light pollution. As I said, like the villages are so far apart, and there are not so many people. It's like 5 houses every, I don't know how many kilometers. And of course there are also bigger cities in between, but yeah, basically like this. So I opened the door, and damn, it was the first time in my life I saw the Northern Lights. It was like above this lake. You can imagine me like standing there, was on a hill, and I could see like down on a lake, and the whole sky was filled with like super crystal like clear stars, and like super beautiful stars. And looking over this lake, behind this lake, on the sky, there were like this little bit of green, like a little bit only. And I was like, whoa, those are the Northern Lights. I saw the Northern Lights. This whole trip was already worth it. So I was standing out there, and with the minutes, they got stronger and stronger. And it was not only a little bit of green on the horizon anymore. It was like really full-fledged, like I could really see the Northern Lights as you see them on photos. I also took photos, and yeah, I was actually in this. I was crying in this moment. It was so beautiful. I was like, damn, this is amazing. Like, I saw the Northern Lights. I already went really, really far with my bicycle. Or yeah, I think already like one or like maybe 2,000 kilometers, 1.5 thousand kilometers. I was like, damn, this is a really, really good journey. So I kept going, and actually at that time, if you ask yourself how many kilometers I did a day, like in the beginning was like around 100, but it got more and more, and uh, I really got pretty in good shape. So I did like 160 in a day, and like maybe even 180 or something, but then disaster struck. Like, no. Okay, so I kept going for a few days, really good kilometers every day, but then my bicycle started to break down, and it was because I had so much stuff with me. Like I told you, like it was really spontaneous. I just got my bike, I just got some bags, and I just put like random stuff in the bike, and I was like, this is gonna be fine. So I or like random stuff into the bike bags. Like it was a lot of stuff, so it was really heavy. So my back wheel, after all this time, like all the weight on the back wheel, it didn't like make it anymore. So it broke. Like the spokes of the wheel, they broke. Like they started to bend, and like the whole wheel was like shaking around, and so I couldn't keep on going with this anymore. And this was really shit because in the north of Sweden there are not that many like bicycle shops, and I was not near anyone. Like it was like the next one was like I think 150 kilometers or something away from the place where my bike broke down. So I took so I just went to like a place where I can like put my bicycle, and I was like, oh, can I repair it myself? But like, no way, my back wheel was totally broken, and with that, like all my hope to get to the North Cape was also like super broken, because I didn't feel that good, and I was like, oh, how can I do this? And um, the cool thing is that Emil and Philip, the guys with whom I went hunting, and they are like the people that made this journey like amazing. Like they had a friend in the city near I forgot the name of the city as well, but okay, so I took the bus to the city with the next bicycle shop, and when I arrived there, like already, like I came out of the bus, and who was standing there on a like with his car and with a trailer. It was a friend of Emil and Philip, and he was like, "Yo, just put your bike into the trailer, and I'm gonna drive you to the bicycle shop, and then we're gonna find out a way to repair this." So we went there, we repaired it, and it was actually, it took I think 2 days, and it was really stressful because they didn't have the right parts and stuff, and then yeah, but it was really nice of him to help me. But still, I was super exhausted. I was super demotivated. I was like, shit, my bike broke down. What am I gonna do? And like one whole day of trying to fix all the problems with the bike, and like all the stress, and like in the evening my bicycle started finally like half working again, but not really. And I was like, I'm not gonna do this anymore. I just wanted to go home. I was so exhausted. I was so like done with everything, and I just wanted to go home. So I was looking like at train tickets like to Germany. I was thinking about, oh, maybe I can go back to Emil and Philip and sleep at their place, or no, and spend some time with them again, go hunting with them again, and then go home. Yeah, so I was already looking like at train tickets and stuff, and I was super like, I was so like I couldn't anymore. I was so exhausted, so I felt really, really bad. And before, like, then I found like a good train to go back. So I called my parents and I was like, "Yo, guys, I'm gonna go home. I have a train. I'm gonna go like actually in on this evening. I was like, just gonna take this train overnight or something, and like in 2 days or something, I'm gonna be home." So and they told me, "Yo, Elias, what the fuck?" Like it was for them. For me, it was like I had 2 days of pure stress, like trying to repair the bicycle, even like with the help of the friend of Emil and Philip. It was like super nice that he helped me, and it's like humans are good, as I told you, and I will expand on this after I finish the story. But still, it was so exhausting. Like all the stress, all the uncertainty. Am I gonna get my bike to work again? And it didn't really work. Like at that time, I was like, I don't know if I can go on with this bike. I don't know. Like maybe like I have a new wheel, but like if I'm like pushing too hard, it's like doing weird noises, and I don't really know. So I was super. Yeah, I had 2 days of pure like stress trying to repair this, and my parents did know this because I was like they knew that they were like a little problem, but they didn't know how bad like my last days were, and they were like, "Yo, Elias, this is you don't just leave like from 1 second to the other. It's like you're on this journey, and like at least sleep one night above. Have you eaten anything today?" And then in this moment I realized like, yo, this whole day that I was like super stressed out about my bicycle, like thinking about, okay, how can I fix this problem? I haven't eaten anything. So this whole day, like I think in the morning a little bit of cereal, like but like a little bit, like this whole rest of the day I didn't eat anything. I was always stressed. I was like, of course you feel bad. Of course you feel bad if you don't eat anything for a whole day, if you like only like like thinking back, it's like super clear like why oh why I felt this way on this day. So I decided, okay, I'm just gonna go into this restaurant. I'm gonna eat a lot. It's like it was like a pretty cheap all you can eat, I think, or like you got like one dish and you could get like as much like salad as you want or something. So I ate a lot, and then I booked like or no, not I booked. Emil and Philip, they booked for me. Damn, they are such amazing people, such amazing people in this world, because they like I also called them because when I was like planning if I go back to them and they booked for me a hotel for the night there. So I slept in this hotel. I went into the sauna of this hotel. Like it's a hostel, like nothing super fancy, but like they had like a little sauna in the cellar, and I went into the sauna and I just relaxed. I just slept a long time, and the next day the whole world was different. It was not like on the evening when I called my parents. I was super frustrated. I was super like I wanted to give up, but on the next day, like I was feeling so much better. I was like ready to go again. So on this day, I decided that I'm gonna try and I'm gonna keep going. So I took all like I went through all my bags and everything that was not 100% necessary. I put it into a big box, and it was a really, really big box, a really heavy box with all the stuff that I'm not 100% needing. So I put my hammock in there. I put like a lot of stuff I put in there, and I went to the post office and I sent this box home to my parents. It was like I think it was like 100 euros or 120 euros because it was so heavy and so big, but it was like all like 80. No, I don't know how many kilos it was, but it was a lot of. It was a really heavy box, and I sent this home. So when I keep going, I don't have that much weight on my back wheel anymore, and it's not gonna break again. And yeah, so I sent this home back on my bicycle, and I just kept going, and yeah, it was okay again. Like I went for the next days. it was going good. It was a little rainy like always, a little windy like always, a little cold. It was really getting cold. Like on some mornings there was already a little bit of ice on the lakes, but it was okay. I could keep going. And then I heard a message like, yo, in 2 days Finland is gonna close their borders, and they're gonna close their borders for good. They're gonna be like, you have like 84 hours, and if you're not in Finland, you're not gonna get in. Like you can't. I think going out is possible, but if you're not in Finland, you can't go. Like they will have military on the borders and be like, no, nobody comes in here because of Corona. And I was too far away to do this in 2 days. So I decided that I'm gonna try hitchhiking with my bicycle. I already did like a little bit of hitchhiking before, but never really much. I never really did it a lot, but I just tried. So I was like with the bicycle hitchhiking. But the good thing is, in the north of Europe, or like if you get to those super remote places, all the people, they don't drive like those tiny city cars. They all drive like big vans with like a lot of space, or they have like a trailer, or they have so much space on their cars. So it was not so hard. Like there was so often, like I only needed one person that drives like 100 kilometers in one direction, in the direction I have to go. And this was not like everyone that was going on the street was going 100 kilometers in this direction, because the next city was 100 kilometers away. And then I already had like half of my daily bicycling done. So if I wait like 1 hour for a person, it takes the person 1 hour to drive me afterwards. Because then it's 2 hours, and I already did like half of the way I would otherwise take a long time for with my bicycle. And yeah, that way I actually got really fast. And there were like two nice men that took me. My information was also wrong about Norway, because it was not the border closed even earlier. And when I thought I had like 2 days left, it was only 1 day left. And they took me all the way through Finland. It's Finland's border, right? So they took me all the way through Finland over to Norway. So I was in Norway. At like they dropped me off, and it was like immediately beautiful, incredibly beautiful. Like I was looking across those the fjords. They were like giant hills, like mountains on one side and like water on the other side. It was just like super beautiful, like from the first moment on. And so I made my way through Norway, and still in this time, even if I think it was the most beautiful place I've ever been in my whole life, like those fjords I was driving through. But all this traveling really took a toll on me. Like I was every day 10 hours on my bicycle alone, and it was like your brain, I don't know, it's like at some point you just want to be home on the warm sofa and just like relax, and you don't want to be like in the cold outside all the time. And yeah, so still I kept going. I tried to enjoy this beautiful landscape as good as I could. And I did enjoy it. Also, if you go by bicycle through Norway, you have to know that if you want to go, like, let's say there's a fjord and you can see like 2 kilometers from you, like across the water, there is the place you want to go. It's not 2 kilometers. It's a drive of like 20 kilometers, because you have to go around the whole fjord. And it's like that way it took like a long time, like to get to get some to make distance in Norway. Also, because with the bicycle you can't go into the tunnels, you have to go outside. And yeah, this took a long time, but it was beautiful and it was okay. And I just kept hitchhiking because I realized how good this works, and I wanted to. I was really afraid that it's gonna start to snow because it was already late April, May, like late September. It was already late September, and I was like. Sometimes in some years there was already snow around that time. This year it was not, so I was really lucky, but had to hurry up. So I decided to hitchhike. And I also, I hitchhiked, bicycle hitchhike. Like whenever there was like a car coming, I was like stopping, holding up my thumb, smiling. Then they passed me, I went on my bicycle again, kept going. And like, this was like my routine on those days. And actually, not so long after, I actually reached North Cape. I reached the place of my dreams. It was not the place of my dreams. It was just like a random destination I wanted to go. But on the 30th of September 2022, I was standing at North Cape and looking across the ocean on the furthest northern point of Europe. Really proud of myself. And yeah, I arrived. The thing is, actually, one day before, I booked for my way back. It's what Peter told me. You remember the rocker, like the guy with the leather jacket, the guns, the prepper. He told me that on my way back, if I don't want to take like the next 5 months to go back through all Norway, I should take the Hurtigruten. And it's like this like a post ship, but it's also like a ship for just there are a lot of people on it, and they go there to relax and see like Norway. And so the day before I went to North Cape, I like the last city before North Cape, I went to like an office. When I arrived at North Cape, it's like maybe 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening, already starting to get dark. I went there. I like took some photos. I looked at like the museum for like half an hour or something because it was closing after. And so then it was evening, and I wanted to start to cook something. And on the next, I knew that on the next morning at 5 o'clock, like I think 50 kilometers away from North Cape, like at this the closest city, the Hurtigrute that I booked is gonna start. So I knew I'm gonna eat and I'm gonna drive the whole night, or not the whole night, but I'm gonna drive a while to get there, and then I'm gonna go on the ship, and then I'm gonna sleep. The cool thing is, I actually met I think, it was actually a German. I met a German there at North Cape, and he had like a camper, super cool, and he was like seeing me how I tried to like build my little cooking setup, like in the wind, in the cold outside, and he was like, yeah, well, you want to come in? You can sleep at my you can sleep at my like camper van, like, and he was like making fish for us, like salmon. And it was super cool. It was so nice to like meet a German again, like talk German. And he was so nice. And he was, when he heard that I wanted to drive all night to get like to the Hurtigruten in time, he was like, hey bro, no problem. I'm just gonna drive you. So I slept at his place in his camper van, and in the morning at like 4 o'clock we started. He drove me, and so I was on the Hurtigruten. And the next days was really beautiful. I was like, that's not so important. Just like seeing fjords, like 3 days on the ship, and they dropped me off in Trondheim. And at that time, I really wanted to go home. I wanted to be back in Germany. Like, wanted to have like a place where I can just be, just know, just sofa and not all the worries, not all the. It was cold and I don't know. I don't know what happened with my brain, but it's like if you're alone for so long and it, everything gets numb. Like for me, everything got numb. I just knew I need a place to just be and relax. So I started to try to hitchhike again in Trondheim on this day. On this day, actually, my phone, I had no connection anymore because my flat rate was uh like done. I knew on the next day I have some again, but on this day I had none. So I tried to drive through to direction Oslo with the signs for the car, but it's really hard because the signs for the car always led me to the autobahn. No, it's not autobahn. I don't know how it's called in the highway. And you can't go on the highway with your bicycle. So this was really bad, but I just tried my hitchhiking thing from time to time, and then there was Knut, and Knut just Knut stopped for me when I tried to hitchhike, and Knut had a Mercedes, I think, and it's not a big one, so it's it was really, really hard to fit my bike in there, but we managed. And then Knut told me where he was going. Knut told me that he is gonna go to Oslo today, 500 and something kilometers. And I was like, damn, I want to go to Oslo as well. So on the same day I went out of the Hurtigruten, I was already in Oslo. And actually I could, Knut, he was like, yeah, you can sleep at my place, super nice. This man, again, such nice people. And so I slept at Knut's place. On the next day, I visited Oslo. I slept another day at Knut's place, and then I went back to Denmark, not Germany yet. But the next 2 days, again, met super nice people through Denmark, and then I was finally back in Germany. In Germany, it was the 11th of October, so you see it was pretty fast. On the 30th of September, I was at North Cape. 11th of October, I was in Germany again. So only 12 days. It's still 2 weeks. It's a while. But the next month, I went around, visited my family, did what I actually planned to do with the bicycle tour, relaxed, and then I was ready to go back home. To go back home to my family, to go back home to my brothers and sisters, my brother and my sisters, to my parents, and I decided to end this one with a big journey. I wanted to end this journey big. So on my last tour, I was in Bremen, and I decided to do all the way back home in one go. So no, it was 300. I did 342 kilometers in one go. 24 hours, no break. Of course, I took a break to pee and I took a break to eat and stuff. But I started at 11 in the morning and I arrived at 11 in the morning on the next day. 342 kilometers. It was super hard, super exhausting, but also super nice to see okay, a little bit of conditioning. I got a little bit more fit in this journey, and so I arrived. I arrived home. My brother and a friend, actually, they came for the last kilometers. They traveled with me. They came to my direction, and then they went with me. It was really nice to see everyone again and to finally relax. Yeah. This was a really, really amazing journey. But it was also a journey where I realized that traveling it's nice, but it's not, I don't know, in this moment I was nah, I think traveling is not going to be it. Traveling is not going to be the thing I want to do with my life. And yeah, as I already told you in this podcast is not about travel. It's about trying to understand life, learn about life, trying to find arguments on how to live life, try to find the best possible goals in life and the best possible ways to live those goals. And with this journey, I realized, like, yeah, traveling is nice, but there's no intrinsic value in traveling. Like, actually, I can't say that in this journey I formed like a rational argument. I think this is like more that at that time I wasn't researching that much. It was more like a emotional knowledge that I knew, like, okay, traveling is not the thing that's gonna fulfill me. It's not the thing I'm gonna do all my life now. Yeah, but still, it was amazing. And Emil and Philip, as I said, I visited them again and it was amazing. We had like snowmobiles. I went there in the spring, and in the spring it's amazing. It's like 2 meters of snow, but sun is shining. It's not that cold, and we were like all day ice fishing and jumping with the snowmobiles, all night partying, and it was really nice. Like, I'm not living this lifestyle anymore, but it was a really, really nice experience, and I love those guys. They are amazing, and yeah. To finish this up, people are nice. 30 days, or now more than 30 days, 40, 50 days, let's say 40 days, I don't know, I haven't counted. 40 days, every single night, I knocked on the stranger's door, and every single night, somebody opened the door and let me sleep at his place. Every single night, I met somebody super, super nice. And in the beginning, I thought, wow, I'm so lucky. And over the time of my journey, I realized that's unlikely that I'm so lucky. Like, how am I lucky every single day, every single evening? How am I so lucky? And then I realized, hey, maybe it's not luck. Maybe people are just nice. Maybe people just like to help other people. And if you give them the chance to. And yeah, I think this is the biggest thing I learned on this journey. It's like a deep trust that humans are nice. Of course, you can't always trust everything, and you have to be careful, but just believe me, it's not that bad. People are good. People are really good. And I hope you enjoyed this episode. We're gonna do next time. We're gonna do some more topic oriented, like more searching for meaning again. But this was just a little story of me, guys. See you in the next one.